In the end, my friend Paul's character, Herkimer Oak, put on the hood of his cloak of manta ray and said, I think we should jump into this well and see where this leads. The other players, Megan, Ryan, and Theron, agreed. Jonathan even said, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Which made me go, hey everybody, in this video we talk about improvisation or improvisation. Yeah, that. The ace up our sleeves. The ultimate trick. The real deal. This topic is impossible to cover in one video, so I think this will be an ongoing series of videos, but they will not be one after the other. They will be a little bit staggered here and there so that I don't get burnt out on one topic. First and foremost, improvisation is a trick that every game master has to learn sooner or later. There is honestly no way around it. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy because it is not, but I can assure you that once you start doing it, you develop the muscles for it pretty fast. Why would you believe me? Well, because I started at square one. I have no training in acting, storytelling, stand-up comedy, or any kind of performing arts for that matter. So I am in the unique position to talk about it from the perspective of Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I do know some things.
I know it can be done. So how do I do it? Well, I think about the game a lot. When I'm driving to work or going for a walk or walking down the aisle at a grocery store, I think about the game. There's no prep. I don't write things down. I just think about what has happened in the game so far, maybe in the last few sessions, and what might happen in the next few sessions. How is the world going to react to my players? That's it. I don't think too much. I don't write things down anywhere. I just think about the game and the people who live in the world. That's all. That is the most honest answer, which is also the most vague, practically useless, and essentially unactionable advice. So let's take one example and try to break down the process into small quantitative chunks. My players were exploring an abandoned dwarven mine. Yeah, very original, very new. They fought with some of the denizens of the mine, took a short rest, pretty much garden variety D&D, but there was a well. And if you have DM'd at all, you know that players are like cats. You make them an awesome dungeon which has multiple levels, many cool nooks and crannies to explore, and they spend the whole time playing in the box that the dungeon came in. They ask, well, how's the water? And I say, it looks like fresh water. It's a little warm to the touch though. And they wondered about why is there a well in here and why is the water warm? In the end, my friend Paul's character, Herkimer Oak, put on the hood of his cloak of manta ray and said, I think we should jump into this well and see where this leads. The other players, Megan, Ryan, and Theron, agreed. Jonathan even said, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Which made me go, what? You're going to do what? I have no idea where this well leads. It doesn't lead anywhere. It's just dungeon decor. I thought that the dwarves who lived here would need a supply of fresh water, so I just thought there would be wells here and there. Also, I had this prop 3D printed out and I wanted to use that on the gaming terrain. It doesn't lead anywhere, and now you want to go and jump into the well?
Y'all jokers must be crazy.
My players are about to dive into unconstructed territory. As far as I am concerned, the well leads here. Is this it? Is this going to be another epic fail? Okay, quick, I need to buy some time. I need to use the bathroom, grab my phone, and leave. I have nothing prepared. I have no idea where this is gonna go. I have to think on my feet. Google search, where do wells lead? Okay, they generally lead to an aquifer. Now we're getting somewhere. Maybe there's an aquifer under this well. But just an aquifer is boring and it's not very interesting. Where does the aquifer lead? Maybe to another well in a different part of the dungeon? You go down here, you come up here. Well, I don't have time to do in-depth research on aquifers. This will have to do. Where will this second well be? Well, there's that stupid statue that I put in another part of the dungeon. Maybe it's not a statue. Maybe it is another well. The players will bypass parts of the dungeon, but that's okay. Whatever is not used today can be recycled and put in front of the players in a different dungeon. So that's fine. Also, this statue was just dungeon decor, something that I put in there. It has no significance. It was just there for players to take cover if they wanted to. We can just easily swap it out for a well without hurting the narrative at all. So let's do that. That's some good progress. Now we need some details. Just one piece of detail is enough. That is enough to maintain the verisimilitude for the players. We don't need the whole history of the aquifer. What can there be in the aquifer? An aboleth? Nah, that seems too random. Like, why would there suddenly be an aquifer, an aboleth in this aquifer, an aquifer in this aboleth? Maybe just fish. Yeah, fish works. The players will see a school of fish swimming around. Depending on how they interact with the fish, they might even be quippers. But we're still missing that flavor, that last touch of spice that we need. Something that makes it unique. I know, maybe the fish down here are blind, and they all have blind sense. It's perfectly and absolutely dark in here. There's no source of light in this aquifer, so there's no reason for the fish to develop pupils and eyes. They just have blind sense. A natural mutation that has happened to this species of fish for over many generations. Wait. So that means there's an ecosystem down here. What about a giant constrictor snake that lives down here, also with blind sense and blind, which eats the fish? So now we also even have a random encounter just in case we need it. That's good enough. That will do. Let's head back to the table and rock this. Phew. Crisis averted. And that was that. I think the players really loved that they came up with a cool idea and could bypass parts of the dungeon. It was not in the original plan, but by forced improvisation, I have somehow jacked my linear dungeon. The random encounter didn't even happen, but the players saw the fish, they were interested, they saw some volcanic rocks and some volcanic activity under the aquifer, which is why the water in here is so warm. So they felt like they accomplished something, and they also bypassed parts of the dungeon, so that made them feel special and smart. And that made me go, I guess the lesson here is when your players go completely off the rails, they just need to see one unique thing as a result of their strange choices. That will make them feel accomplished and special and feel good about their ideas. So you don't need to invent a whole world on the spot. All you need to do is come up with one, maybe two unique details that you can quickly Google search and come up with and throw it into your game, and that's fine. Was that whole thing that I just made up geologically correct? Probably not. I have no idea. That's not my job. I am here to entertain my players. I'm not here to give them a lesson in geology and sedimentary rock deposits. That's all you need to do. That's the secret to improvisation. You don't need to be accurate. Yes, it's nice to have an accurate and consistent and very realistic world, but don't let that be the enemy to your improvisation.
Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
That's it, folks. That's the video. By the way, if you're wondering what is jacqueing a dungeon, it refers to this very old designer named Janelle Jacquet, who was famous for putting really meaningful choices in her dungeons, and many designers have since then tried to emulate her dungeon design style. There's a whole article by the Alexandrian. I'll put a link in the doobly-doo about how you can jacquet your dungeon. That's it, folks. That's the video. Thank you for watching. If you have subscribed to this channel and are not getting notifications and YouTube tells me that you aren't, that's probably because you haven't selected the tiny little bell icon in the bottom right, which is how you set the notifications and YouTube doesn't tell you. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Go improvise.